Cardinals finished preseason 0-4. And we're underway. And it's going to be Howard at the 2. Penalty markers are down, and Joe Howard dives past the 25-yard line. And we'll check to see what the penalty is. Howard ran back a kick 99 yards for a touchdown last year. It'll be a penalty against the Redskins. Holding.
We got holding, number 51 on the return. 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and it'll be first down.
Monty Coleman. And that will set the ball back as the Redskins begin their first possession of the year. And Mark Rypien, the quarterback, has had a terrific career thus far against the Cardinals. He'll face this defense. Ready Joe Nunn, Bob Clasby, Jim Waller, and Rod Sadler up front. The linebackers, Anthony Bell, Eric Hill, and Ken Harvey. And there's the secondary with second-year Jay Taylor at cornerback. First down on the 16. Rypien to the air to Gary Clark. And the pass is incomplete. Cedric Mack on the coverage for the Cardinals. The rest of the offense for the Redskins up front: Jim Lachey, Russ Grin, Jeff Bostic the center, Mark Schlereth, Ed Simmons the tackle, and Don Warren is the tight end. Ernest Biner is the running back, and they start with the wide receivers: Art Monk, Ricky Sanders, and Gary Clark. Not a better triumvirate in the NFL. Second down and 10 on the 16. 5 defensive backs in for the Cardinals. Rypien to throw. Incomplete, intended for Sanders. Covering on the play was Lonnie Young, the free safety.
Joe Gibbs did not show that 3 wide receiver set during the preseason. He said, hey, we're not going to tip our hand, but it's opening up here today. You see the signals going in from Humphreys on the sideline. Gibbs would like to open up with a big offensive show here.
That's how he finished off last season to great success. Kelvin Bryan has come in the backfield as a receiving threat on 3rd and 10. On the rollout, Gary Clark makes the reception. He's got the first down for Washington, just shy of the 30-yard line. Marcus Turner, the nickel back, in to make the stop on Clark.
The success of that play dictated in part by the amount of time that Rypien had. Slight rollout and looking for what Joe Bugle calls the most dangerous receiver in football, Gary Clark. Watch Rypien here. He sets his team in motion. He rolls out slightly to his right. The offensive line sliding over. Plenty of time. A good job of escaping the tackle right there by McDonald to pick up the first down. Had he gone down at that point, would not have had it.
13-yard gain. Ernest Biner with the first running play of the game for the Redskins. Gets to the 30-yard line. Pickup of 1. Ken Harvey and Rod Sadler combined to make the stop. Tampa Bay leads Detroit 7-0. As this first NFL Sunday gets underway. The Redskins, a prolific offensive team, Merlin.
They certainly are, but they're looking to improve their running game. Both these teams talking about making a better job of running the football.
Rypien has time again. And the pass was intended for Sanders, overthrown. And it was Jay Taylor covering on the play. Nearly an interception by Phoenix.
One of the things I thought was interesting when we talked to Joe Bugle, his evaluation of Rypien as a quarterback, he said he's cold-blooded. He said he'll stand back there until the last possible second. It is perhaps one of the reasons that he has had so much trouble hanging onto the football, because he has been hit. He has been fumbling, or had done a lot of fumbling, in particular when he was sacked.
Benched 2 games in the middle of last year for that reason. 3rd down and 9. On the 30. Kelvin Bryan in the backfield. Rypien again has plenty of time. And his pass wide open. Gary Clark. And he's knocked out of bounds just about at midfield, just shy of the 50 by Lonnie Young. A gain of 18.
One of the weaknesses of this Cardinal defense, their inability to put pressure on the quarterback. And right there, Rypien with all kinds of time, and you can't give Gary Clark that much time to get across the field. Jay Taylor has no chance in coverage.
Taylor, second-year cornerback, replaced the veteran who was in from the Cincinnati Bengals. It'll be 1st and 10 on the 49. Pressure on Rypien, and Art Monk can't hold on to it. Anthony Bell was chasing him to the sideline, and Tim McDonald makes the stop.
There's one of the finest safeties in the NFL, Tim McDonald and Lonnie Young. That's Young, of course, number 46, but his mate Tim McDonald in the Pro Bowl last year, many felt that Lonnie Young should have been there. There they are in tandem. The thing that will impress you about them as you watch them today is that they will hit you. You go down with that football in your hands into that secondary, they're looking to take your heads off.
2 tough safeties for the Cardinals. By the way, Carl Carter was that defensive back who was dealt to Cincinnati to give Taylor a chance. 2nd and 10. Here comes a safety blitz, and the pass intended for Clark. Lonnie Young put some pressure on, and the pass was incomplete. It was McDonald and Taylor defending.
This is one of the problems that they have. They can't get enough heat with the 4 men up front. They've got to come with the blitz, and anytime you blitz, you run a great risk, because if it can be picked up, you can spot the one-on-one man. Rypien is going to put it into his hands.
3rd down and 10. Rypien on the design rollout, has time, and the pass is caught by Clark, and the Redskins will have another 1st down. Marcus Turner on the stop. Art Monk with a 15-yard reception and a 1st down for the Redskins in Cardinal territory at the 37.
Joe Bugel will not show you the kind of emotion churning in his stomach right at this moment. And believe me, he will let you know how he feels if you're on that sideline. But he's just got to be soaring with adrenaline right at this moment.
Ernest Biner dives forward inside the 35. Jim Waller making the tackle. Ernest Biner gets the starting role. He'll be used along with the other veteran running back Gerald Riggs to keep them both fresh. Riggs, of course, was the leading rusher for Washington last year. RFK Stadium in Washington, sold out as usual. 11:25 to go in the 1st quarter. Still no score, but the Redskins driving. On the play action, and Rypien is going to get thrown back for a big loss. Freddie Joe Nunn. Nunn and Harvey will be the chief pass rushers for the Cardinals, and Nunn with good pursuit on Rypien there, and a loss of 11 on the play.
These Redskins went through the entire preseason without a single sack. And that one right there puts them back, puts them under real pressure here with a 3rd and very long. Look at the sacks of these two teams. Sacks by, only 4 by the Cardinals, 9 by the Skins. But look at that, sacks allowed, 0 by the Redskins. This is all preseason, 20 by the Cardinals. But the Cardinals get the 1st sack today.
3rd down and 18. The ball back on the 45 of the Cardinals. Rypien trying to go to Kelvin Bryant.
Almost.
And the pass is incomplete. Well covered downfield. Eldonta Osborne, a rookie linebacker, showed terrific pass coverage on the play. And that'll bring up 4th down. And Ralph Mosienko will come in to kick it away for the Redskins.
Joe Gibbs said that Kelvin Bryant in his prime is the most dangerous 3rd down back in all of football, and they're happy to have him back after missing all of last year with a herniated disc in his neck.
Vai Sikahema, one of the best return men in the NFL, is back. Bearcats called for by the rookie Ricky Prohl. And he makes the catch on the 12-yard line. Gene Barth is our referee today, and the Cardinals will take over for the first time. The Redskins with a drive that used up nearly 5 minutes of time, but the Cardinals now go on offense on their own 12-yard line. Tim Rosenbaugh with his second NFL start. We'll set the lineups for you after this play. There are two setbacks, both rookies, Johnny Johnson and Anthony Thompson. Play fake on first down. Marcus Cook chasing Rosenbaugh, and the pass is complete to Johnny Johnson out of the backfield. And that'll be a first down up near the 35-yard line. Todd Bowles makes the stop. Here's the defense of the Redskins. Up front, it's Charles Mann, Tracy Rocker, Darrell Grant, and Marcus Cook. Linebackers, rookie Andre Collins, teams with Greg Minuski and Wilbur Marshall. And in the secondary, the cornerbacks, Martin Mayhew, the veteran Darrell Green, the safeties, Todd Bowles, who was in on that last play, and Alvin Walton. Gain of 23 on that first play.
Johnson reached for his hamstring at the end of that play. We'll keep an eye on him.
First down on the 35. Johnson stays in the lineup. Anthony Thompson, the top draft pick of the Cardinals, comes up short. Might have lost a yard. Andre Collins making the stop. The rest of the Cardinals offense, and originally Joe Bugel had set the same offense that they had in Washington. Up front, Louis Sharp, Derek Kennard, Bill Lewis the center, Lance Smith and Tootie Robbins, Walter Reeves the huge tight end. The backfield with Johnny Johnson, the rookie, Ron Wolfley the H-back, Roy Green and J.T. Smith the veteran wide receivers. They still keep one back in there now, and Ricky Prohl is in as a third wide receiver on 2nd and 11. Pass is tipped, nearly intercepted. Monty Coleman feels he had intercepted the pass, but it'll go as an incomplete.
Coleman got his hands on it, but it also got on the ground. A batted ball like that, you'll see it as it's batted at the line of scrimmage by Tracy Rocker, number 99, up right in front of Rosenbaugh. We don't have the right angle to see that, but it looked like clearly the ball had bounced on the ground before he got his hands on it. And Joe Bugel doing something interesting, making some notes on things he wants to talk to his team about later.
I haven't seen a coach do that in a long while.
Ray Berry, remember making his notes on the sideline.
He's not working right now.
No, he's not. He's making them at home right now.
Third down and 11 for Rosenbaugh. Getting pressure. And he completes it to Roy Green, and it'll be a Cardinal first down. At the 48-yard line, Brian Davis, who is in as a nickelback, makes the stop on a 14-yard pickup to Roy Green, 33 years old, but he can still run with the best of them.
And he has been a thorn in the side of the Washington Redskins throughout his career. He's the first name that they mention when they talk about this offense. And you notice Rosie's not a dumb quarterback. He looks for the experience. Went right to Green on that play, and Green, after the pattern had broken down, knew where to find a hole for the quarterback.
On first down, Johnson gets into Redskin territory, picks up about 4. Marcus Cook in on the stop.
Johnson, a 7th-round pick last year, and would have been much higher. But he quit school. They actually got thrown off his football team, and it had to do in part with some differences with the coach, but part of it also because he was with his family during that earthquake out there and did not go back to practice the next day. The coach used that excuse to cut him. He's still a little bit bitter, but boy, he has been a godsend to these Cardinals.
A long shot making this team. Second down and 6. Johnson again. Dives forward, picks up maybe 2. It'll set up third and about 5. Marcus Cook, the first man to reach him, and Alvin Walton supports.
Talking about Johnson, some of them compared his running style to Dickerson. I think he looks a little bit like an O.J. Anderson, a young O.J. Anderson, with a straight up, straight ahead, north-south kind of running style. But I don't think we're going to compare him to those guys until he gets a little more in the way of statistics.
Third down and 5 for Phoenix on the Redskin 47. By Sikahema now in the backfield. Ernie Jones in motion. And a penalty marker down.
Marcus Cook off quickly, and unless he was enticed by movement in that offensive line, it will go against the Redskins and would be a first down.
Encroachment, 78 defense, 5-yard penalty.
Tim Johnson, who was picked up from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to mark the 5 yards off. And we'll see if that indeed does give the Cardinals a first down, and it should. It is.
Johnson acquired in a trade from Pittsburgh to beef up this defensive line, but there are only 6 active defensive linemen. The Redskins very concerned. One of those, Fred Stokes, is having shoulder problems.
First down for the Cardinals on the Redskin 42. Johnson. Good cutting ability by Johnny Johnson. Martin Mayhew comes up from the secondary and upends him at the 36-yard line.
There's that straight up cutting style that is reminiscent, as they say, of runners like Dixon and O.J. Anderson. Watching him from the end zone, makes an excellent cut. He has good vision and tremendous leg power.
Second down and 4. Rosenbach has some protection. And it's tipped by J.T. Smith, and it's intercepted by Darrell Green. And the first turnover of the game. Darrell Green with the interception. Walter Reeves and Bill Lewis both make the stop. And it's Redskins ball again.
That one was served up on a platter. He almost had to fair catch it.
On the 20-yard line, Don Warren, the tight end, is set out wide at the bottom of your picture. Rippon on first down, and it's dropped by Ricky Sanders.
Let's go back and look at that interception. And two things to look at here. This will go as a interception against Rosenbach, but there's no way. You got to either catch that ball or bat it down. You don't serve it up to the defense right there. Darrell Green ordinarily will flank out with the best receiver on a team. Today he's been strictly at that right cornerback position. Makes a little mistake there. He decided to challenge the big guys and they jumped on him.
Second down and 10. No score with 6:20 to go in the first quarter. Rippon, secondary doing a good job, and the pass to Sanders is caught. Cedric Mack, who is the ace cornerback of the Cardinals, was right on him, but the pass is complete, just short of a first down by about 3 yards.
Rippon took his share of criticism last year and has taken a great deal over the offseason, but this is the first time he's come to camp knowing who's going to be the starter. It's the first time he's had a chance to really own this offensive team, and I think that's the fair test for him here. And boy, you saw him looking all over the field on that play before he finally made the connection.
On the 28-yard line. Rippon getting pressure. Art Monk's got it. Down at the 35. First down, Redskins. Anthony Bell and Marcus Turner combine to make the stop on Art Monk. Redskin player of the 80s. Does anyone argue with that?
No, you can't argue that. It's such class. Such absolute class.
First down on the 35. Cardinals bring in Michael Zordich as an extra defensive back. Biner tries to go outside. Sadler had a hand on him. He gets to the 41-yard line. Ken Harvey brings him down, and that'll bring up third and about 5 for Washington.
Joe Gibbs made a nice point when he talked about Biner. He said he is the first do-everything back we have had in this system. He said a lot of our other backs, even the great John Riggins, he said, you didn't ask John to block. He said he blocked, but he didn't really want to block. Biner will not only block, he's a great receiver, and he's also a tremendous runner. He'll do it all.
They used to have Riggins for the power, but Biner can do a lot of things that even Rigo couldn't do. Second and 4. Play action and a good fake by Rippon. And the pass is caught in a beauty by Sanders. Lonnie Young Double coverage, but it was Young who makes the stop, and a gain of 18 keeps it alive for the Redskins.
Well, the posse has picked things up where they dropped them last year when they had that hot finish of 5 wins back-to-back. Ricky Sanders, one of the 3 receivers in that group. And looking at his numbers for last year, and here they are. Look at that. They're the only 3 wide receivers ever to go over 1,000 yards in one season on the same team. 3 receivers did it in San Diego, but one of those was a tight end.
That doesn't count.
Well, it certainly counted for them.
On first down, Biner. Hard running up the middle, picks up about 2 or 3. Tim McDonald. And Anthony Bell making the stop. 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Coming in, this was supposed to be a breeze for the Redskins and still might prove to be, but right now it's been a tough-taught game in this first quarter.
You'd like to have experienced people on the field. Running backs. Look at that. Phoenix, they've played 59 games, 207 yards. That's Sikahema. Look at this other side of the screen. We'll show you that again in a few minutes. It's a worthy statistic.
Second down and 8. Sanders down the sideline, and he's going to score for the Redskins. Touchdown. A 37-yard touchdown pass.
This is the kind of mismatch that you hate to see as a defensive coordinator. And this is what Washington does so well. Ken Harvey, no match for Ricky Sanders as a wide receiver, and Sanders blows it all the way into the end zone.
And Chip Lohmiller, who was perfect in preseason with Ralph Mosienko holding, adds the extra point. And the Redskins, taking advantage of a Cardinal turnover, lead Joe Bugel and Phoenix 7-0. 7-0, and some oxygen for Ricky Sanders.
He's earned it. Take as much as he wants.
Chip Lohmiller kicking off. Sikahema.
Great kick.
A yard in the end zone.
He'll stay.
Going to keep it there for a touchback and bring it out to the 20-yard line. But a lot happened on that touchdown pass to Ricky Sanders. Little things.
Something to look for here. Look at the separation that Sanders gets from Harvey, the linebacker, and then watch the block. Number 88 right here, Jimmy Johnson, with the block that springs Sanders down the sideline. He gets away from Cedric Mack to break it into the end zone, but good teamwork by the Redskins.
And that's what Joe Gibbs looks for, special teams performers and people who block. All of their wide receivers do a good job at that, too.
Unselfishness, a very important word on a football team.
First down on the 20. Rosenbaugh up top. Intended for J.T. Smith. Mayhew defending on the play.
Rosenbaugh pointing down and saying, come on, J.T., work it to the inside. Talking to Jerry Rome about Rosenbaugh, and I said, what's this kid's problem? I mean, what are the things he has to work on? Not what's his problem. Rome said, we've got to slow his motor down a little bit. Said he really runs so fast that he's charging all the time. And, of course, he needs to show a lot of confidence in that huddle, needs to slow it down a little bit. But this is a tough, competitive kid.
And a tough arena for him to make his second start. Ricky Prohl in motion. Rosenbaugh had time, doesn't have receivers open. Anyone's ball, and it's going to be the Redskins. Mayhew with the interception. And Charles Mann got a piece of it.
He'll be greeted on the sideline, Rosenbaugh, by a coach who will say that's a rookie mistake, and that is a stupid mistake. You've got to eat the football, or you've got to get it out of bounds safely. And Rosenbaugh right here, he gets the sideline, nobody open. Right there, you've either got to go to the ground or you've got to whip it out of bounds. I'm sure his idea was to get it out of bounds, but he was hit just as he got it in the air.
Man actually hit him from behind, no tip ball, but that made the ball squirt up there.
You take a little of the squeeze off of him. That hit certainly had an impact on the interception. They're reviewing the play, perhaps to see if he was in bounds when he caught that ball.
After a review of instant replay, the call stands. Good interception. First down.
Question being, were his feet in bounds as he took that interception?
Well, the Redskins have ideal field position following their second interception of this first quarter. Time running down. It'll be a first down on the 38 of the Cardinals. Play fake. Almost a naked reverse, and Rypien completes the pass. And it's to Sanders. Cedric Mack on the stop, and it'll be close to another Washington first down, and it is.
The danger you face when you line up defensively against these Redskins is trying to figure out where in the world they're going to go. They have so many offensive weapons and a scheme that allows them to get the matchups they want and you don't want, as was true a few minutes ago with Sanders.
Well, their problem may be along the way is to stop the other team, but with an inexperienced quarterback, that may not be a problem for them today. First down on the 26. On the draw play, Byner gets another first down to the 15. Eric Hill on the stop. Gain of 11 for Ernest Byner.
Ernest Byner has always run the draw and the screen very well. Those are tremendous assets to a team that loves to throw the football, because with a single back there, you still have to respect the threat of that draw play.
And the Redskins, who started the game with 3 wide receivers, now go to a 3 tight end offense on the 15 of the Cardinals.
That's the heavy team.
Byner, tough to stop, gets to the 10. Anthony Bell, the first man to hit it. And we're reaching the end of the first quarter. Nearly a half a minute remaining. And an injured player, Bob Clasby, who suffered a knee injury 4 games into last season and had reconstructive surgery, is down. We'll take a timeout here at RFK Stadium.
Did you see the big brace on it? This is his right knee, so bad luck for a very scrappy tackle. And Big Daddy Hairston.
15 years in the league. Carl Hairston is in there. Ernest Byner trying to slip off a tackler on 2nd and 5. Ken Harvey grabs hold now, and that'll bring up a third down. And that will be the last play of the first quarter.
I saw Big Daddy in the locker room before the game. I accused him of using some of that dye on his hair.
Not many you could do that. And that's the end of the first quarter here at RFK Stadium with the score, the Redskins 7 and the Cardinals nothing. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen here in the season's opener at RFK Stadium. Redskins lead the Phoenix Cardinals 7-0, taking advantage of a turnover, an interception by Darrell Green. Ricky Sanders with a 37-yard touchdown reception. Now it's 2nd down and 7. 3rd down and 2, that is, for the Redskins. Threatening again. Sanders, out of bounds, and good coverage by Cedric Mack. He blanketed Ricky Sanders, who was in motion.
A good second catch. That ball in the hands and then out of the hands of Sanders. He caught it on the second turn.
But it's good enough for a Washington first down. That's all he needed.
Dick, this is an area of the field that the Skins had trouble pushing in for the touchdown last year. Too many field goals, they thought. You see Clasby on the sideline. They want the 7-pointer if they can get it.
Byner. Maybe a yard. Garth Jacks and Tim McDonald in on the play. Former Dallas Cowboy, one of the Plan B new faces a year ago on the Cardinals, and he responded in special teams particularly. Second and goal. Ball at the 4. They spread it out. Johnson in motion. Rypien. Byner. And Byner. Does he get in? Yes, touchdown. And the Cardinals are protesting. Eric Hill thought he had slowed him up and had downed him.
They'll review that play to see if he was down by contact, because if his knee is on the ground and he's in contact with the defensive man, they will trot that one back.
It's not a replay situation, I don't believe.
Well, I think it is. Let's take a peek at it here. Now, if he goes to the ground and is touched on the ground, was the knee up off the ground before Hill touched him or not? If he gets the knee off the ground, he's free to go on into the end zone. But if he's touched and down by contact, and I don't think he was, they are reviewing it. Maybe we can look at that again. The question, of course, was he in contact with the defensive player when that knee was on the ground?
At first, Joe Bugel was shaking his head about the replay situation.
Let's look at it again. Maybe we can see. I'm sure they're reviewing this same angle in the truck. Now, does he get the knee off the ground? I think he does. I think that knee is off the ground before he's in contact, and he's allowed to put the hand on the ground. That's fine. I think it's a touchdown.
I agree.
But very close.
After a review of instant replay, the call stands. Touchdown.
Joe Bugel is incensed. But Ernest Byner gets the touchdown, and the Redskins lead now 13-0.
Great acrobatic act by Byner, and good second effort to get his feet back underneath him and get into the end zone.
Chip Lohmiller. Lost the ankle holding, and the kick is good. Redskins taking advantage of 2 turnovers, now lead by 2 touchdowns. For 17 already for 135 yards.
Impressive yardage, and of course the 2 TDs very costly early in this ball game. You can play a different game when you have that kind of cushion. Let's go back and look quickly at that replay. Watch now as he comes to the outside. Turn it loose if you would, guys, and let's go. As we get out there, as you watch the middle linebacker Hill come underneath, he reaches down, and right there, stop it right there. His hand goes underneath the knee, and he had not touched him before that. And you let him go again, and you watch some great acrobatic skill as Byner, who's allowed to use the hand on the ground but cannot touch either knee, works his way into the end zone.
Lohmiller kicking off. Kroll and Sikahema are back deep for the Cardinals. Low line drive kick, and it's Sikahema on the 2. One of the better special teams in the league are the Cardinals. Kurt Govea making the stop. RFK Stadium in Washington. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen, and a capacity crowd on opening day. The Redskins, who are 3-6 under Joe Gibbs in opening games, lead here 14-0 early in the second quarter.
You're right about special teams. Sikahema has been there as a Pro Bowler, as a special teams man, as has Rich Camarillo, the punter, and also Ron Wolfley 4 times in the Pro Bowl as a special teamer. So they're hoping to win some games this year with their special teams.
First down on the 21-yard line. Play action. Rosenbach, and he's got running back Johnny Johnson out of the backfield, and Johnson with a big gainer. Close to midfield. Todd Bowles makes the stop on a gain of 22 yards.
You've got to like this young kid. You've got to like his hands, very soft hands, but look at the way he runs after he catches the football. He's a tackle breaker. You see him here getting away from Collins, just sweeping him aside, getting the movement there, and then putting the shoulder down on Bowles. And maybe, hey, he said, come on, you got some more guys? I'll take them on. Boom, boom on the sideline.
First down on the 43. And up the middle, it's Johnson again. This time, not much. Greg Minuski, the middle linebacker, on the tackle. RFK Stadium, and the pictures courtesy of the SeaWorld blimp. The captain is Mike Fitzpatrick out of Orlando, Florida. By the way, making its first appearance outside the state of Florida.
You see that little white spot up there? Put on the glasses. That's Shamu. That's Shamu on the side of that sucker.
Can I take the glasses off
You
now?
can take them off now.
Second down and 10. Rosenbach, before the pressure, trying to go for Green covered well by Darrell Green. Green on Green, and it'll be third down.
We talked to Richie Pettibone, the defensive coordinator for the Redskins, about the way he would approach this young quarterback. And he said, hey, he said, we've got to show him as much as we can in terms of the looks. There's Pettibone in the center of your screen, the assistant head coach and coordinator here for so many years. But they'll give him all kinds of looks out there. They'll do a lot of window dressing, moving people around, try and confuse him. And then also they're not afraid to come with a blitz. And if he can't handle it, he will see a lot of it before he's through here in the early going.
Redskins not normally a blitzing team. Today a different story perhaps. 3rd and 10. Rosenbaugh can't get away from Stokes. Injured shoulder and all. Fred Stokes gets Rosenbaugh from behind, and it'll be 4th down.
Redskins have been concerned about their defensive line, and in part because of Stokes' absence. Charles Mann, a tremendous year, a tremendous camp so far. Good preseason, but Stokes needs to balance things out on the other side.
Walter Stanley back deep for the Redskins, a new face for them. Rich Camarillo kicking, and it's Stanley on the 12, and he's downed immediately. Ernie Holmes, and a timeout. Those today, Merlin.
They're going to have to get this offensive team whacking and get them moving down the field. They've got to start putting some points on the board. They have not done a lot of that during the early part of this year.
Gerald Riggs is in at running back. Other changes in the offense for the Redskins. First down on the 14. Riggs barrels out close to the 20-yard line. Next Saturday, college football on CBS Sports has its season premiere, a classic doubleheader, 2 o'clock Eastern, Pitt at Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, of course, out rushing UCLA 299 yards to 28 yards. Embarrassing.
Then at 9 o'clock Eastern, number 5 Michigan travels to South Bend to face Notre Dame, ranked number 2. 2nd down and 5 on the 19. Rippon with a lot of time, and wide open is Art Monk. Jay Taylor knocks him out of bounds. Right now, for NFL Today report, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Dick, Tampa Bay has pulled even at Detroit on Vinny Testaverde's 2nd touchdown pass of the day. This one to the rookie out of Arizona State, Bruce Perkins, for 8 yards. It's a 14-14 tie in the Silverdome. Back to RFK to Dick and Merlin.
Thank you, Greg. Tie score there. Redskins lead 14-0 here, and a first down on the 35. 16-yard play. The Monk. Rippon tipped in the air. And it'll go as incomplete. Anthony Bell got his hands on that pass.
We've already seen a tipped pass interception by the Redskins. Rippon happy that that one dropped on the ground without having anyone in the way.
By the way, Bob Clasby, who was taken off the field, suffered a sprained right knee. You remember the left knee was the one that was operated on. He's doubtful to return the rest of the game, and Hairston has been in there. 2nd down and 10 on the 35. Rippon trying to go to Jimmy Johnson. The tight end incomplete. Covering was Tim McDonald, and that'll bring up 3rd down. And in the Redskin offensive line, good to see Joe Jacoby back from reconstructive knee surgery. He and Raleigh McKenzie are in the lineup now.
Well, they certainly are. Big Joe, that number 66, so familiar to Redskin fans. Knee surgery in week 10 of '89, and he's lost some weight. He's down to about 3'5", 310. He has to kind of guess. He's a couple of years ago up around 345, 350. But wants to protect that knee a little bit.
He's an original Hog. They don't know what the nickname's going to be now, but he's an original. 2nd and 3, Rippon up the middle. Overthrows Gary Clark. And that'll bring up 4th down, so the Cardinal defense holds, and Ralph Mosienko will come in to kick. Rippon, as we showed you, have had great success against the Cardinals in the past. Leading here, 14-0. Mosienko will kick. by Sikahema goes back deep for Phoenix. Good high spiral, and Sikahema back to the 16. Oh, a brick wall.
He hit his own man. That was Wolfley, who was coming down to block for him, and Sikahema put Wolfley right on his back.
Monty Coleman will get credit, but you're right, Wolfley's the man. Taking advantage of 2 Cardinal turnovers, leading 14-0. It's first down and 10 for Phoenix on their 25. Johnny Johnson is the lone back. Tim Rosenbach fakes a pass and runs out of bounds, and he's not afraid to storm into enemy tacklers.
Let's go back. A most unusual play on special teams by Sikahema. Great special teamer. Watch him as he looks upfield, and the Redskins have great coverage. He sees he can't go outside. He decides to go right up the middle. Unfortunately, Ron Wolfley thinks he's going outside. And from another angle, you'll see what happens to Wolfley when Sikahema goes up the middle. Right there. Helmet to the chin, and Wolfley is saying, hey, I'm on your side. I'm a Cardinal.
On 2nd and 4, Johnny Johnson is hit hard by Tracy Rocker and goes nowhere. Johnson has looked good thus far as a rookie for the Cardinals, but Rocker rocked him back.
He can rock you. He's strongest against the run, and he is a chunk.
Redskins, a deep team using Tim Johnson and Fred Stokes in the defensive line. Brian Davis and Brad Edwards in the secondary. It'll be 3rd down and 4 on the 31. And here comes Monty Coleman. It'll go as an incompleted pass. It is not a free ball, but Coleman came in unmolested. And the Redskin defense snuffs out Rosenbach again.
So many important role players on this defense. Monty Coleman certainly one of them. Number 51, left-hand side of your screen. Quick decision. He knows he's going to be in there clean. And Rosenbach doing all he could just to get the ball out.
Rich Camarillo is in to kick it for Phoenix. Walter Stanley deep. High kick. And a fair catch called for by Stanley at the 26-yard line. 44-yard kick.
AT&T.
The pass rusher, he's had that bad shoulder, however, Merlin.
Trainers have been over there looking at that left shoulder, and there's the harness that he wears to protect that shoulder. And you notice he can raise the arm up, but it keeps that arm from going back. If they were over talking with him, he has really had some problem with it. You see, he's still moving it around on the sideline.
9:22 remaining in the first half. 3 tight ends and Ernest Biner, the running back. Rippon going up on top for Clark. Incomplete. Cedric Mack and Lonnie Young covering.
The Redskins have benefited tremendously from the turnovers so far in this ball game, and right now I'm sure that the Cardinals saying, hey, maybe it's our turn. Let's take one away. Let's get ourselves some field position. We'll give our young quarterback a chance to get in from down in their territory.
When you consider that the Redskins scored as a result of turnovers, the Cardinals have more than held their own against the Redskins in a difficult place to win.
You can't take those turnovers out of the game.
No.
Such an important part of it.
Biner gets to the 25, hit immediately by Eric Hill. It'll be 3rd down and maybe a little more than 10.
We talked about changes in the offense. One of them, of course, Rosie there. You see him on the sideline. But they've also changed the defense. Joe Pascali, who's coming at their defensive coordinator, now has them playing a gap control and penetrating defense as opposed to a read or 2-gap defense they played in the past. He also says we're going to mix our defenses better. We're going to play a lot more bump and run as well as zone. So they are making some very substantial changes on the defense as well.
3 wide receivers, and you know who they are. The posse on 3rd down and 11.
No heat.
Rippon with a lot of time. And a good recovery by Jay Taylor. Ricky Sanders had beaten him, but Taylor got back to tip it away, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Ken Harvey, their fine young linebacker, drops down at a defensive end position, rushing in from the outside. He was late getting there, but he was the only one around.
Ralph Mosienko. Good pickup. Who have been with San Diego, and there's by Sikahima, who hopes that Ron Wolfley doesn't get in his way this time on a return. Ricky Prohl, and the Cardinals are going to find themselves with their best starting field position in Redskin territory. Following that kick, Joe Howard on the stop. That was only a 29-yard punt. Well, next week, the NFL on CBS begins at 12:30 with the NFL Today. We go right into the game, doubleheader action. Game 1, you'll see either Chicago at Green Bay or these Phoenix Cardinals at Philadelphia against the Eagles. And that'll be followed by either the Washington Redskins against the 49ers at Candlestick Park or New Orleans at Minnesota. Check your local listings. It all starts Sunday at 12:30 Eastern Time right here on CBS.
Joe Bugel saying thanks a lot. Open up on the road against Washington and then send me up to Philadelphia. Okay.
He wanted to be a head coach.
Hey, yeah, that's right. He's waited a long time.
Grew up in the steel and coal mine area of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There's the flip. Fumble. Johnson lost it. And the Redskins have it. Raven Caldwell recovers it, I believe, and Washington has it again. And that's the 3rd turnover of the game.
Eagle just shaking his head. Joe Bostic telling a story about Bugel when they led the league in turnovers. When he was the assistant coach here, he exploded in a meeting. They're liable to get that in Phoenix the way they're playing right now. Johnson just simply could not handle that toss as he goes to the outside, although it slapped out of his hands. Good defensive play right there by Wilber Marshall. Had a play like that last week against the Rams, too.
Well, the Cardinals were in Redskin territory, and now the Redskins are on the Cardinal 34. On the counter, Ernest Biner drives inside the 30-yard line. Michael Zordich making the stop for the Cardinals with just under 8 minutes to go in the first half.
Talked about this offensive line looking for a new nickname. I think they're always going to be the Hogs. So, although they talked, Lachey said maybe we can be Piglets. Now, I think they're still going to be the Hogs, and you see why as they just get down and blow everybody off the line with that counter trade play.
As long as those fans can still look like Hogs, I don't care what they'll be called. 2nd and 5. Biner again. Not sure if he had good control on that handoff. And is stopped at about the 30-yard line and a half. Tim McDonald and Eric Hill there. Cardinals, you talked about how the Redskins won their last 5 games last season to finish 10-6. Cardinals went the other way. They had an 0-6 finish.
Yeah, we asked McDonald about the toughest thing that they had to face this year and all the change. He said, hey, it's going 0-4 in the preseason. They want to win. They need desperately to get a victory.
And a timeout has been called by the Cardinals.
St. Louis timeout. Cardinals. Correction, Phoenix Cardinals timeout. It's a 40-second timeout.
Hey, Gene, that was a few years ago now. They moved from St. Louis. So there's a timeout. We'll bring you up to date on scores around the National Football League. Cardinals have 2 timeouts left. Rams and Green Bay tied. Tampa Bay over Detroit. Minnesota, Kansas City all knotted up in the 2nd quarter. And the Bears leading Seattle 10-0. There's a guy, there's always good stories. Now the Cardinals with a deep receiving core, and the Redskins, whose strength are in wide receiver. A lot of experience there. It'll be 3rd down and 5 at the 29-yard line. Kelvin Bryan in the game. Art Monk, he has it. Close to 1st down yardage. They may have to measure this. Cedric Mack in on the stop. And they're short. It'll be 4th down. Missed it by about a half a yard.
This crowd urging Joe Gibbs to go for it here. And he's saying, let's do it. They're going to go for it. Jim Hannafin in that huddle as well, who's taken over the job of being the boss hog, although I don't think you really replace a Joe Bugle
No.
for these guys. But he's if you got to replace him, go get him.
4th and 1. Biner doesn't make it. And the Cardinals stop him. Lonnie Young came in from the secondary and undercut Biner, and the Cardinals will take over on down. And if there's anything going to give him a boost, it'd be that play.
Joe Gibbs is saying, now I know why I shouldn't listen to that crowd. The crowd always wants you to go for it, and then when you don't make it, they boo you. Let's watch Biner. Look at the surge by the defense here, but it's a great play on the outside by number 43, Young, who stripped his feet out from underneath him, allowing Hill to get there and take him down.
It'll be a 1st down for the Cardinals with exactly 6 minutes to go. Tim Rosenbaugh hasn't mustered much of an offense thus far. On the 26. Pass caught by Ricky Prohl. Rides Mayhew for a couple of yards and gets to about the 32-yard line.
Young rookie coming off the sideline. Ricky Prohl, they're excited about his talent. A 4.5 40 ran a little bit earlier. People said he's a control receiver. Joe Bugle said, yeah, I hope they're looking for him as a possession control receiver because he can flat move. He really looks like a veteran in his rookie year.
2nd and 4. Johnny Johnson, nothing there. Darrell Grant, long-time run defender, gets a little unhinged with his uniform there, but he was the first one there.
Hey, when you make a nice play, you don't care. Hey, let that pad flop. Who cares? Stick it in there. Boy, he is almost a motorhome of a defensive tackle.
What he looks like. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Cardinals on their 31. By Sikahema. And Monty Coleman runs him down. And Coleman stops him close to the 1st down, but I think they're short. And Coleman again. He's playing an outstanding 1st half. Did not start at linebacker for the Redskins today.
We mentioned before how the Redskins slot their players, and Monty Coleman, who's been a pass down specialist for most of his years in the league, showing again why he is so valuable. Instant recognition, and that's critical. He didn't have to think about what he was going to do. He knew instantly where he was supposed to go.
Walter Stanley, who has been a joy for Joe Gibbs, former Packer and Lion receiver. Rich Camarillo kicking. See if they took too much time. Delay of the game, 5 yards.
They're thrilled about Stanley and his ability to return those punts. Led the league last year with a 13.8 average.
Delay of game. Cardinals 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Joe Gibbs did say, though, we want him to hang on to the football.
That was the first thing he said when we talked to him, but they expect big things. You got
They are.
Stanley and Howard, 2 outstanding kick return people. Good kick by Camarillo. Stanley back inside his 20. Doesn't make it to the 30. Garth Jacks was there for the Cardinals. 3:38 to go in the 1st half. 14-0 in favor of the Redskins. Coming up next, live, Mark Rypien. rolls out. And the pass to Art Monk. And it's caught. And it'll be a first down. Marcus Turner defending.
Art Monk. Well, I tell you, Rypien throwing a boomer of a pass. He doesn't have to worry about the hard pass. He's got that down. It's the touch pass he needs to work on. But that one just zipped into Monk.
Playing out his option, did not reach an agreement in his contract, and that could work for him this year because it gives him a little extra incentive.
Well, he's asking for $3 million over 2 years, and they've offered 2.4 over 2. Not bad. Not bad.
On first down, Biner going wide. And a good bit of running and a penalty marker down as well as Biner gets into Cardinal territory. Tim McDonald and Freddie Joe Nunn on the stop. But it appears to be against the Redskins, and it is.
Now those holding calls on the running game. And
Holding, 53 offense, 10-yard penalty, replay the first down.
Jeff Bostic, the center.
When the rules were changed to allow the offensive lineman to use that pushing technique to stretch those arms out on the running game, you opened the way for all kinds of holding possibilities on the running plays. Pete Cook. Marcus Cook. Not Pete Cook, but Marcus Cook. I wonder who does his hair.
I don't know, but now he sometimes has it in a ponytail, doesn't he?
Not today.
Not today. Not on game day.
They're checking the alignment of the ball.
It'll be first down and 20 when they do spot it. Interception by Darrell Green. Rypien fire to Ricky Sanders for a 37-yard touchdown play to give the Redskins a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. Martin Mayhew on an interception, and Biner went over from 4 yards out early in the second quarter to make it 14-0. The Cardinals survived another fumble. Now the Redskins again, first and 20. Another flag down, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Kelvin Bryant and covered on the play by Anthony Bell, and another holding call against Washington.
The officials chatting a little bit with Lachey, Jim Lachey.
79 offense, holding, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Lachey saying, hey, would I hold? Would I hold? I'll tell you, he is a tremendous
I was going to say, does he have to hold?
He doesn't have to do anything. 6'6" and 290. I asked him a question. I said, have you ever thought of how your life would have been different had you stayed in San Diego? Of course, traded from San Diego to the Raiders and then to here. And he said, I'm just glad I'm here. He said, I'm home. And he is. He fits in so well here.
Via the Raiders, I might add.
Yes. Yeah.
So now it's first down and 30 for the Redskins, back on their 23-yard line. Rypien's pass intended for Art Monk, incomplete. Marcus Turner thought he had a chance for the ball, but he knocks it away nonetheless.
Turner playing that ball very well, but Art Monk's such a cerebral receiver. You got to believe that he's a defensive back at that point. If he can't get it, he's going to make sure you can't get it either. I tell you, I'm watching down there. Big Daddy Hairston, in his 15th year, did not plan to play full-time in this game. He's planning on being spotted in there. Now with the injury to Bob Claspy, he is going to have to play this whole game. He is going to be one tired son of a gun.
Second down and 30. Biner. They need a lot of yards, though. It'll be third down and about 20 or so. Ken Harvey makes the tackle, and we've come down to our 2-minute warning here at RFK Stadium. 2 minutes to go in the first half. This is the first time that these teams, who have been division rivals, of course, when they went back to St. Louis and before that Chicago, that they've ever opened here in Washington. Third down and 22. Good numbers for Mark Rypien.
Very impressive.
Kelvin Bryant with Jacoby blocking. And that'll bring up fourth down. Jim Waller makes the stop. Cardinals called a timeout earlier, and now will use their second timeout here and stop the clock with 1:55 showing.
The balance to those passing yards that you saw by Rypien. Washington has 49 yards rushing so far in this first half. And The Cardinals, who really wanted to control the ball, have 13 yards rushing. They have not been able to get the ball on the ground, moving on the ground, and it has really hurt them.
By Sikahima back. Ralph Mosienko will boot. 1:55 to go, and the Cardinals down to one timeout left. At this point, looking just to get something on the scoreboard before halftime. Great kick by Mosienko. Sikahima back to the 12-yard line. Penalty markers fly as Sikahima is down at the 31. Normally, traditionally, that penalty is against the receiving team. A 52-yard kick, however, by Mosienko. Brad Edwards on the tackle.
Illegal block being signaled by Monty Coleman. He's not the official, is he?
Not the last time I looked.
We have multiple fouls against the return team. Number 53, illegal hands to the back, refused. Number 23, illegal use of hands to the back, will be accepted.
Garth Jacks, Marcus Turner, take your pick.
Jack says, okay, at least my name doesn't go on the list.
There's Joe Bugle making his debut today against his former club. He's not alone, though. Bruce Coslett with the Jets, Jack Pardee at Houston, and Rod Russ, the other new coaches.
Yeah, and they're both Coslett's playing his old team, Cincinnati. Pardee is visiting Jerry Glanville, and the reason Glanville's name is not on there, he's not a new coach. He's a new head coach in a different city. Of course, he was in Houston last year, but our focus today on this man, Joe Bugle, in the first half has not been kind to Bugle or his Cardinals.
1st and 10 back at the 9-yard line. By Sikahima in the backfield. Tim Rosenbaugh completes the pass. Ernie Jones under route. Question about throwing deep. Tim Rosenbaugh, when we looked at the films of preseason, did not go deep often.
Well, we talked to him about that yesterday, and he said, you'll see us try and throw the ball deep or get it deep. They have tried on several occasions. They have not hooked up deep here today. But if he doesn't establish himself as a quarterback who can go deep, teams will begin to sit on those short routes.
2nd and 5. Sikahima. Still shy of a first down. Darrell Green and Wilbur Marshall that time.
That's the kind of pass that Rosenbaugh has been very good at. And is that Darrell Green on the ground?
Green, it appears to be, yes.
Green, who had broken a wrist last year and had injury problems, a critical member of this secondary. They don't have that many corners.
And as they mentioned on the NFL Today and getting ready for our game, that is a big question mark for the Redskins, their secondary depth.
Well, this is a real speedster. Let's see if we can see what happened to him. Hit by his own man, as is so often the case. Gouvier, Kurt Gouvier, with the helmet right on the hip. And there's nothing but bone there. There's no fat on Green, but Green is up. Happily so.
Green and Mayhew, and it's a good thing they have Brian Davis back. Rosenbaugh with a chance to go over to the sideline. Cardinals with one timeout left. And we said that if the Cardinals can just do something and get even 3 points, as Don Bro goes over something with Joe Gibbs, then Joe Bugle can tell his team, look, the turnovers made the difference in the first half. Watch them, and we're in an even game.
Well, he'll try and emphasize the positive, but it's been the negative, the turnovers, that have really killed him.
3rd down and 2 on the 17. Sikahima, and he'll have enough for the first down. Charles Mann, mentioning his name for the first time today. Pro Bowler with under a minute to go.
I think that's a compliment to Tootie Robbins, who's playing over at that right tackle position for the Cardinals.
Quick huddle.
Ooh, but look who's on the quarterback.
Charles Mann. The pass was incomplete, intended for Roy Green.
Do you think Charles heard us say that? Charles, who has had a tremendous preseason performance, and of course is going to be double teamed on most plays. A great slap and move inside on that last play, and he planted Rosenbaugh on the ground.
Fred Stokes and Tim Johnson come into the defensive line, and they bring out Rocker and Grant, so they have a couple of pass rushers on 2nd and 10. Rosenbaugh going deep for the first time against double coverage. Intended for Ernie Jones, incomplete. Martin Mayhew was back there.
Well, I don't think the question is, can you throw the ball deep? The question is, can you complete the pass deep? And that certainly was not an accurate pass by Rosenbaugh. Rosenbaugh out of Washington State was a freshman there when Mark Rippon was a senior. We asked Rippon, did you know him when you? He said, sure. He said, in fact, I watched him in high school. He was there at Pullman High School. Both of his parents, by the way, were in the athletic department. He said, hey, there was no question about where I was going to school. They didn't even have to recruit me.
3rd down and 10. Rosenbaugh running for the first time. They'll have the first down. They're going to mark where his slide began, and it'll be about the 32-yard line. The clock stops as the Cardinals use up their last timeout with 23 seconds remaining in the half.
Redskins will trade that yardage for time off the clock. 23 seconds, as you mentioned, and that's not a lot of time to move down the field against a veteran defense.
Especially when you know the Redskins are looking for the long pass, something Rosenbaugh hasn't gone too much today. Talked about who some of his close friends are on the team. He says, well, one a real close friend is the center, Bill Lewis, who was just picked up from the Raiders. He says, he's married, I'm single, I get free meals over at his house.
It's not a bad idea to be a good friend to your center. By the way, Lewis, who was not playing in an earlier scrimmage in the training camp, when Rosie took a real hit, he came off the sideline to yell at the guy who nailed him. The protectors. That's a big offensive line. Did not have a great preseason. But Joe Bugel believes that they are going to be a strength on this team. They have in the past, and they certainly have the potential of doing it here. But they have got to play up to their potential if they're going to win. Whoa.
Ball was never snapped.
Johnson. What did you see, Timmy?
Penalty flags. Here's Gene Barth.
Encroachment, 78 defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, if you're going to make a mistake, make it full speed. And Johnson, without question, made the full speed mistake.
I want to remind you again that Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw will bring you up to date with scores and highlights of this first Sunday of action in the NFL. Here in Washington, the Redskins trying to hold on to a 14-0 lead at the half. 23 seconds to go. Cardinals all out of timeouts. Now 1st down and 5 on their 37. Another marker down. Charles Mann got off the dime in a hurry. I don't know if he was drawn offside.
I think someone may have moved on that play.
Encroachment, 78 defense, 5-yard penalty.
Against
Tim Johnny again. Somebody going to have to talk to Timmy. Now, you saw who went over to him, Monty Coleman. This is a veteran team. And there are tremendous leaders on this Redskin team. Coleman going over and saying, no, it's okay. It's all right. We appreciate the enthusiasm, but could you please wait until they snap the ball before you go after that quarterback?
It's a first down for Phoenix.
Hey, it's not funny if it ends up in a touchdown for the other team, but... Ooh, and another one. Good cadence by Rosenbaugh.
Another penalty. Sikahima on the screen pass fights his way to the 44-yard line, but I think another Redskin moved again.
Stokes is off on that one. And I think what is happening there is you're getting a good call, a good cadence by Rosenbaugh, who is barking those calls as much in the way that John Elway does.
Offside, 60 white defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, there's not enough time left for the Cardinals to go downfield on encroachment.
Well, you don't end on a penalty. They can keep moving as long as they get the penalties called against the Redskins.
The only problem is that time is going off the clock, and now there are 15 seconds left. Well, they may have time for one, possibly two, and they've got 3 wide receivers to the top.
They'll try for a big one here.
Marcus Cook with the rush. Rosenbaugh steps out of bounds. He'll get another play. He's got the first down. But the time is the important factor here. And he gets into Redskin territory.
No question about Rosenbaugh's ability to run. That's something the Cardinals have not had for a long time. Lomax, of course, with that arthritic hip condition, really a stationary quarterback. And, of course, when you have a quarterback that can move around, you can use those roll-type pocket situations, and you'll see a lot of that from these Cardinals.
First down on the 46. 3 wideouts. The Hail Mary knocked down with 1 second to go in the half. Roy Green was down there. Brad Edwards covering, 1 second to go. And the Cardinals, if they had 1 timeout left, could have possibly set up a field goal situation with a pass down the middle.
The end of that play, Roy Green I don't think he was trying to catch the ball. I think he was trying to bat it back to Ernie Jones on that last play. Something that we have seen happen quite often at the end of a half or the end of a ball game.
Barring penalty, this should be the last play of the first half. Downfield coverage for the Redskins. Here's Rosenbaugh's throw, and it's knocked down, and that'll do it. That's the end of the first half. Joe Bugel runs off the field with his Cardinals, and Joe Gibbs Redskins taking advantage of 2 interceptions. Darrell Green and Martin Mayhew scored as a result of both of those turnovers. And at halftime here at the Cardinals 14-0. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen up here, and I guess you'd have to say, Merlin, that 14 points is really not an insurmountable lead considering what people thought coming in.
Certainly not. I think Joe Bugel would have liked to have had a little longer halftime. They've cut the halftime down. I'm not sure you could give him enough time. But more than anything else, Dick, and I think this is important, the Cardinals have to do the things that they came into this game saying they were going to do, mostly on offense. They said they wanted to control the football with their running game. Well, so far they have 35 yards rushing. 25 of those are scrambling yards by Rosenbaugh. Here are some more statistics to help you understand the differences in the game, and the big one in those turnovers. 2 of those, as we said, leading to touchdowns.
Time of possession was something that Joe Bugel told us would be important in the game, and that of course reflects again the running game that the Cardinals have not exhibited so far today. He says we need to get the edge in time of possession if we have any chance in this game.
Well, I'm sure Bugel talking to his troops saying, look, we're certainly not out of this yet. Joe Gibbs on the other side wants things to continue as they are, especially from number 11, Mark Rippon, who has had a fine first half.
Now the Cardinal defense hasn't played all that bad, really.
Not at all. In fact, given the opportunities that the Redskins have had to have only given up 14 points, we'll give them good marks in the first half.
And the Cardinals will get a chance to show what they can do offensively. Chip Lohmiller will kick off to start the second half. By Sikahema on the left and Ricky Pohl on the right. Second half is underway. On an overcast afternoon in the nation's capital, it'll be down there by Sikahema, and the Cardinals will take over at the 20. Tim Rosenbaugh, how does he stack up with Mark Rippon?
Well, Mark has certainly thrown the ball more, and Rosenbaugh's numbers not impressive. Of course, no touchdowns and 2 interceptions, although one of those we will not credit to him. It was a ball that was batted into the air. Even though it'll stay on the record, not his fault.
Anthony Thompson starts out, number 34. He was the first pick taken on the second round, runner-up in the Heisman Trophy, and a late starter because of a holdout. So it'll be first down on the 20. Thompson, the running back, and Dennis Smith, the H-back. Thompson, to show what he can do, runs right into Wilbur Marshall and company. Greg Minuski as well. And a loss there.
Good defenses swarm to the football, and good defenses establish control of the line of scrimmage early in a half. I'm sure that's what Richie Pettibone talked to this team about. You see Manusky coming off. He's replaced in most of those passing downs. There's Pettibone. One of these days he'll have his chance. Bugle is having his. Dan Henning got his. Richie will have his.
Loss of 1, second down and 11. Rosenbaugh's pass is caught, and that'll be good enough for a first down.
Ricky
Prohl, the
boy,
rookie from Wake Forest.
You got to love him. Getting down. One of the things he was able to do from the very first day in camp is to find the holes in the zone. He's going to have to work a little bit on his man-to-man patterns, but boy, he knows how to find an opening. Does a good job of it there. Just turns back inside. Very, very secure hands. A little bit of time to throw, but it's shut down in a hurry. Like Charles Mann on that left-hand side.
On first down, Thompson again runs into Darrell Grant this time. Nothing. So the Redskins have totally shut down the Cardinal running game. And now Kurt Gouveia, look at, he's going to lose that first 7, isn't he?
Need a seamstress. Need a seamstress.
He'll just be known as number 7 soon. Second down and 9. You mentioned Kurt Gouveia into the game, replacing Manusky. Monty Coleman as well. Rosenbaugh on the run. Completes the pass to Ernie Jones out of bounds. That should be good enough for a first down, and it is beyond the 45-yard line. Martin Mayhew on the stop that time.
We mentioned earlier in the game that Darrell Green normally flip-flops to the outstanding receiver on the other team. They're not doing that today. And one of the things that Darrell said to me that was interesting, he has tremendous respect for Roy Green. And ordinarily, he'd be man-to-man on Green all day. And he said, I hope that Roy Green doesn't get mad because of this. He said, this is not a sign that we don't respect him. He said they just haven't shown those deep patterns to Green.
First down, they're going to try the run again. And this time, Thompson picks up a couple. Darrell Grant and Marcus Cook. There's Ricky Sanders, who caught a touchdown pass, a 37-yard pass and run.
He's stretching. I mean, it looks like he's in pain. He is stretching, folks. You cannot believe until you see it, the flexibility of some of these athletes. And of course, the conditioning that they go through to play in this game.
There's Ernie Jones, who's being defended now by Darrell Green on the second down and 7.
There's a hard count again by Rosenbaugh, and it's going to be embarrassing. Laverne Torgerson, the line coach for these Washington Redskins, going to have a little chat with his troops pretty soon.
Defense, 74 encroachment, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Marcus Cook, everyone's gotten into the act and encroachment so far today for the Redskins, it seems.
I don't think Charles has had one. Charles is saying, wait a minute, Dick, I haven't had one. But that is embarrassing for a defensive line. But you're trained to, you want to get off. You want to get that heat on the quarterback.
Speaking of heat, I feel like Tampa Bay 28-14 over the Lions.
Run and shoot is not shooting, huh?
Second down and 2. Thompson brought down from behind. Grant.
I think they're saying welcome to the NFL. Thompson, the runner-up to the Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware last year, brings wonderful credentials.
How do you figure the Cardinal offensive line, supposed to be one of their strengths, really didn't do it in preseason pass blocking or run blocking?
I think they're adjusting to this new system. And I think the other thing that makes it a little difficult for them is they're not quite secure with Rosenbaugh back there. They're not sure exactly where he's going to be. And they've got young rookie running backs who aren't really conditioned to the system either.
Third and 2. Rosenbaugh completes to J.T. Smith, and the veteran dives for the first down. To the Redskin 42-yard line, Monty Coleman finally puts the seal on Smith. Oh, 10 minutes and 43 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
J.T. Smith, veteran receiver, one of the best one-on-one route runners in the NFL. And I said, what do you do when you try and beat that defensive man? He said, I try and frighten him by going at what he's most afraid of, and then break back to what I want to do. Interesting thought.
Penalty markers are down.
Uh-oh. This is not preseason game, is it? We're certainly getting some penalties on the field.
Played a little better, though. I mean, other than the penalties.
Well, this one they're
be against the Cardinals.
Motioning that it is a Cardinal penalty.
False start, 67 offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Louis Sharp, left tackle. Redskins bring in Raven Caldwell, the linebacker, in place of Marcus Cook, the defensive lineman. A couple of the posse right there, and Clark and Sanders. First down and 15 for Tim Rosenbaugh on the Redskin 47. Deep drop and a screen pass to Johnson. Johnson with a head of steam gets to the 35 and dives and may have a first down. Darrell Green undercut him, and let's see where they spotted at the 32. It'll be awfully close. First time we've seen that screen pass today.
It is, and you can kind of sniff it coming. Rosenbaugh is going to have to be a better actor in the future. But Johnson made a fine move. I thought he may have made a mistake when he went inside of Gouveia, but he certainly turned on the steam, and you can see the power that he generates. Tremendous leg turn. He'll break a lot of tackles.
And the measurement. And they missed by a couple of inches. That's all.
Let's go back and look at that play. You draw the line in and then flip it inside. There's the move right there. It was Wilbur Marshall that he broke inside of. There's Gouveia right there. And then finally just a surge as he throws himself for that extra yardage. He's not afraid to put his body in there.
Those that compare him to Eric Dickerson say that he has even better hands and is a better blocker than Eric. We'll see, but he's looked good here.
Well, he's got 3 catches for 60 yards so far today.
Furthest penetration for the Cardinals today. And with a yard to go, the handoff to Johnny Johnson, and he's got the first down inside the Redskin 30. Kurt Gouveia on the stop. So it's 14-7 Washington, and the Cardinals moving smartly.
Good running backs finish the run by getting that extra little body surge or body lean by finishing going forward. They get a little extra yardage every time, and you saw Johnson doing that on that play.
First down on the 28 of Washington. Best threat today by the Cardinal offense. Play action pass. Rosenbaugh going up top, and it's intercepted again. Mayhew may have his second of the day, and he does. It'll be a touchback intended for Ernie Jones. So that's the 3rd interception today by the Redskins, and the 4th turnover against the Cardinals.
He does not see Mayhew to the outside. He simply doesn't have that whole picture in his head yet.
2 interceptions for Martin Mayhew and 1 for Green. So if the cornerback position was going to be a little shaky for the Redskins, it hasn't come up that way thus far today. First and 10 on the 20. Washington leading 14-0. Ernest Biner trying to go outside. He's chased down by Anthony Bell. About a yard gain, that's all.
Dick, the frustration for this Phoenix team is that that's really the first substantial drive of the day for them. 10 plays, 52 yards, 6.5 minutes virtually off the clock, and yet it ends without any kind of score on the board.
Joe Bugle going to the blackboard, or the pad in this case. Second down and 10. 3 wide receivers in for Washington. On the draw play, Biner moves it out another yard or so, and that'll bring up 3rd and long for the Redskins. By the way, those interceptions by Mayhew are his first 2 career interceptions in the National Football League. Took over for Brian Davis at cornerback just about midway through last year.
Caught the first one. He said, "This isn't as hard as I thought." Now
I
he's
like
got
this,
a pair. I like this. Yeah, make me feel good.
Close to 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Kelvin Bryant checks in for Washington. 3rd down and 8. Mark Rypien. Bryant makes a terrific catch.
What a great
And
catch.
he beat his defender nicely, who was right on him all the way. And that'll be a 1st down. The linebacker, Eldonta Osborne, trying to cover the running back.
Osborne, one of the fastest linebackers you'll find in the NFL, has 4.4 speed and has great position. But watch the concentration as Bryant goes up over. How in the world do you catch that ball? Right over the top of your head. Well, I tell you, that's tremendous athletic ability by Kelvin Bryant.
Bryant was out all of last year with a herniated disc in his neck. He's back.
He is back.
1st down, Washington on their 34. Bynum cuts upfield and got a good block that time from Jimmy Johnson, one of their tight ends. Cedric Mack comes in to make the play at about the 40.
Bynum pushing up toward his 28th birthday. He'll be 28 on the 15th of this month. Still with the speed to get outside. Highly conditioned athlete, a dedicated athlete, and Joe Gibbs very, very pleased with his performance.
And you look at Riggs, who has seen brief action. Bryant, the 3rd down man, and then there's James Wilder, we haven't talked about much today, former Tampa Bay star.
We showed you a stat earlier. Combined, those three bring more than 17,000 yards into this game, but the negative of that, they're not young men.
2nd down, wide open, juggling catch by Sanders. But the Redskins move it into Cardinal territory to the 48-yard line, a gain of 12. Eric Hill and Anthony Bell on the play.
Sanders upset with himself that he didn't just clamp the hands on that one and get a little extra yardage. But this Washington offense, so adept at reading your defense and taking advantage of it. And as I mentioned earlier, with all of the offensive tools they have to work with, you don't know where to go. You don't know what to take away from them.
They send Don Warren to the top of your screen. Bynum going outside again. Fine run, dragged out of bounds by Anthony Bell, but not before a solid run and an 11-yard pickup by Ernest Bynum and a 1st down.
Let's see what the Hogs were doing on that last play. Getting good work on the outside. Freddie Joe Nunn locked up. He couldn't get outside. A linebacker Lading getting out there himself. No way to stop him on that play. That's Anthony Bell, number 55, finally getting a hold of Bynum, but big 1st down run.
Good offensive line work. Ed Simmons and Mark Schlereth.
That's a new right side to that offensive line.
1st down on the Phoenix 38. Gerald Riggs is checked in. Freddie Joe Nunn gets him from behind. A penalty flag is down as Riggs is brought down at the 33. Came from behind the play, and we're going to have holding called against the Redskins.
Well, you get a running back going back against the grain.
Illegal use of the hands, number 81 offense. 10 yards from the dead ball spot. It's still 1st down.
Yeah, me.
Art Monk, one of the things that Joe Gibbs talked to us about was the fact that these, well, you guys don't agree with that, do you? Joe Gibbs talked about his receivers and the fact that they are blockers. And they really are. You come in here to play against these Redskins, and as a defensive back, you're going to have those guys up in your chest because they will come and block you. That was not the right time to block.
1st and 15, going deep this time, and wide open is Gary Clark. Touchdown. Not a happy homecoming for Joe Bugle.
The defense had kept things in front of them and forced Washington to move their way down the field, but they explode with the bomb right here. He's got He's got him all the way down the field as Gary Clark is wide open and broken away from number 46, Tim McDonald, an all-pro.
Lohmiller's kick is good, and it's 21-0. A 43-yard touchdown strike to that man, Gary Clark.
Look at Rippon. He is thrilled.
Chip Lohmiller kicking off by Sukahima. On the return, gets to the 20-yard line. On that drive, Mark Rippon was a perfect 3 for 3 for 66 yards.
Teammates, Washington State, now enemies across the field.
Dear Michelin, in the last 6 years, we've gone through over 30,000 diapers, 2,000 jars of baby food.
Cardinals have not been able to mount much of an offense, and when they have, turnovers have done them in.
They've been able to move the ball as they did on the drive previously, but then they make the big mistake. And the Washington Redskins, as good teams do, have taken advantage of those miscues.
2nd down and 3. Bringing you up to date on scores around the league. Good acceleration by Johnson, and the rookie nearly breaks a couple. And a fine run by the 7th-round draft pick from San Jose State. 21-yard gain by Johnny Johnson. Martin Mayhew on the stop, just shy of midfield.
You see him talking to the defense at the end of that play. I'm not so sure that's a good idea. This is a good idea. Look at him run through that arm tackle right there by Walton. And after the play, got up and had a few words for the Washington defense.
It's a 1st down on the Cardinal 49. Rosenbaugh up the middle, and the pass is caught. Ricky Prohl, Kurt Govea, and Monty Coleman in on the play. Gain, though, is only about a yard.
Larry Wilson was talking about that rookie Prohl. He said he's got football arrogance. An interesting thought, but good players do have a little bit of arrogance. Good quarterbacks, good receivers know they have talent and know how to use it.
2nd down and 6 in Redskin territory at the 47. Johnson up the middle, moves the pile a bit, and it'll be about 3 yards shy of a 1st down. Johnson's carried the ball now 11 times in the game.
His 33 yards, not indicative of what he's done, because he did have that fumble that cost him about 10 yards earlier in the game.
3rd down and 2. Cardinals winless in their last 6 at the end of the year and 0-4 in preseason, trailing 21-0. Pressure on Rosenbaugh, dumps it off, and it's intercepted by Alvin Walton, and he's off to the races. "57 yards with the interception by Alvin Walton off the deflection. 5 turnovers today by the Cardinals.
Poor Rosenbaugh is having fits today. Right off the shoulder the shoulder of Johnson, who had slipped, and Walton he didn't have to worry about it. That was served up, and away he goes for the touchdown.
Chip Lohmiller adds the 28th point. 4 interceptions. You can't survive that. For Tim Rosenbaugh by Joe Bugle. That's the right way to do it.
It is a learning experience. It is a learning experience.
Repeat after me. Chip Lohmiller, end over end. Ricky Prohl. Penalty marker down.
Yeah.
Way down at the 12-yard line.
Osborne with his hand in the back, pulled off, but not until the official had seen him push.
Timing is everything.
It is. Almost got away with it.
Illegal push in the back, number 90. Half the distance to the goal line, first down.
He didn't fool you. Well, the one simple story in this game, turnovers, and here's what's happened.
No question about it. They'll kill you every time. Interception, touchdown. Interception, touchdown. It gets repetitive. We see it 4 times. And I'm sure Joe Bugle has seen it far too much today.
And for Alvin Walden, that is his second touchdown return. First coming last season. Less than a half a minute remaining in the third quarter. 28-0 in favor of the Redskins. First down on the 9 for the Cardinals. Rosenbach up to Johnny Johnson on the screen. Johnson fights his way to about the 18-yard line. Kurt Govea and Monty Coleman make the stop.
In the Cardinal record book, there are 4 players who've been intercepted 3 passes against the Cardinals in a single game. 2 of those are Redskins. And those 2 Redskins did that back in 1971. One of them, Richie Pettibone. The other one, Jack Pardee.
Who's coaching today. And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Redskins 28, the Cardinals nothing. I'll get the next question. Our coverage will continue. Losing 28-0, and you wonder if the whole year's going to be like this.
Well, Joe Bugle's biggest job is changing the attitude of his team. And they have lost the last 10 outings. It looks like they're on their way to losing this one. They need a victory.
There's the rookie Johnny Johnson, been a workhorse today. Gets a couple. Offensive lineman. There's Jim Lachey. And one thing about the Redskins, and Joe Gibbs will tell you, he says, as far as I'm concerned, this is a team that is still in transition, and he's right.
He is. They've made some changes. Lachey has stepped in at that left tackle position. Schlereth over there, along with the new Ed Simmons at tackle on the other side. Bostic has been the stabilizer in there. He's the only guy that started all 16 games last year. A lot of injuries on this Redskin team last year, but Bostic was the man in the middle for the whole season.
Mark Mays on injured reserve now. Third down and 2.
Good fake.
Johnson, great fake. First down to the 25. Darrell Green on the stop, just shy of the 25-yard line.
Johnny Johnson got to do a nice thing when he was in college. His father was a great back at San Jose State. In fact, set all the rushing records in 1960 to 62, and he broke all of his dad's records. They were still intact. He broke them. That was before he got dropped out of school the fourth game of his senior year. But that would be kind of exciting. Did you break any of your dad's records, Dick?
Only the 78s and the 45.
No 33s. Right?
You won't even get me on that. First down on the 25. Johnson, by the way, has gained 40 yards today. Rosenbach, sack. Tim Johnson. And that's the second sack of the game for the Redskins.
That's what they hoped Tim Johnson would bring to them when they made the trade with Pittsburgh. You'll see Johnson coming from the inside from his tackle position, right-hand side of your screen, just breaking away from Kennard right there. And Kennard could not contain him, and he blindsided Rosie.
And in this game, when you have a big lead, you play
a different game.
You come right at the quarterback. You get burned, you get burned. You're up by 4 touchdowns. Second down and 17. Tip pass. Govea nearly had an interception. Another one for the Redskins, and it was Walter Reeves who was the intended receiver. This is the scene from above the SeaWorld blimp, giving us these outstanding pictures of the nation's capital in RFK Stadium, making its first appearance outside the Sunshine State. 194 feet long, with Captain Mike Fitzpatrick out of Orlando at the helm. 3rd down and 17 for Phoenix. The ball on their own 18-yard line early here in the 4th quarter. Good inside rush, and it was the linebacker. Penalty marker has been thrown, but Wilber Marshall stormed in a la his days with the Chicago Bears there.
Wilber Marshall at his best on the blitz, at his best in the passing game. Got a great jump off the ball.
Holding, offense number 70, penalty refused, 4th down.
Derek Kennard holding. They'll decline it.
You're going to wave that one off, obviously, but what a great play by Wilber Marshall as he just exploded off the right side.
So Rich Camarillo will come in and punt. He'll be kicking from his end zone. And Walter Stanley is looking for a good return. He's almost at midfield. Stanley at his 42. And ridden down, but not before he gets into Cardinal territory by Tracy Eaton. 10-yard return. So Joe Bugle's Cardinals go on the D again.
I'm sure that he had hoped and felt very secure in at least giving his team a chance to be in this ball game, and they were in the ball game until halftime. In fact, at halftime, had they been able to take the ball all the way down the field the first drive of that half instead of throwing interception, they're in it. But the mistakes have killed them, and young quarterbacks make mistakes. That's inevitable.
And it won't be the last time. 1st down, Redskins on the Cardinal 46. Gerald Riggs. Picks up a couple. Ken Harvey, the linebacker, on the tackle.
We talk about young quarterbacks. Mark Rypien is not an old quarterback. He's a young quarterback. But the difference between Rypien and Rosenbach is that Rypien did his apprenticeship with 2 years on the clipboard. He watched for 2 years. And then he got in and got tested, in and out. Got a chance to sit down again in the middle of last season and watch. And finally got 5 games at the end to put it together. And now came into camp. He's the #1 guy and a different quarterback.
2nd down and 8. Riggs. Good running by Gerald Riggs, just shy of the 1st down. Lonnie Young and Anthony Bell in on the stop. Rosenbach, who actually was named quarterback, Gary Hogeboom, may not be the last we've seen of Hogeboom, and they're carrying 2 quarterbacks. Tom Tupa is the backup.
In all fairness to Rosenbach, we should add another note, and that is that Rosenbach is not surrounded with the talent and the secure people that Rypien is. He's in a transition offense. They're learning a new offense. Everyone around him is asking questions.
3rd down and 2. Gerald Riggs carries a few Cardinals into 1st down territory at the 33. Sadler and Bell on the stop. Let's bring you up to date on what's happening in baseball as we're in the last month. The Oakland Athletics not lost to the Yankees this year, leading in the 5th 3-0. Seattle leading the Boston Red Sox, and Toronto 2-1 over Chicago. In the National League, Phillies lead the Mets, and Montreal over Pittsburgh. An opportunity for the Mets to pick up a game if the Pirates go on and lose.
Well, I know you're looking forward to that league championship season, and it'll be all here on CBS.
Coming up in October, yeah. 1st down and 10 on the 33. Riggs.
Good play defensively.
He'll suffer a loss of 3. Rod Sadler on the stop, and right now all Joe Gibbs is concerned with is using as much time off the clock. He's got enough points on the board, to say the least.
He's got to have mixed emotions, as do a lot of these Washington players. They certainly wish the best for Joe Bugle in his coaching exploits in Phoenix, but not today. And that was the message as we talked to the Hogs and we talked to Joe Gibbs. They love this guy, but today he's the enemy for a day. He's their friend, but he's the enemy for a day.
2nd down and 11. Rypien's pass caught by Art Monk. And the other thing is that you know, they didn't want to see him before the game, and he didn't want to see them. But after the game, it'll be a total different picture. Russ Grimm was the only one who called him a couple of times this past week.
I asked Joe Bugel if it was going to be an interesting feeling to come back into this stadium where he'd spent 9 years and then make the turn and go, instead of going to the Washington Redskin dressing room, to go to the visitor dressing room. He said, yeah. And he said, that's really a dungeon down there, too. And believe me, I was down there. It is a dungeon.
They don't make it comfortable for the enemy, do they? 3rd and 7. Kelvin Bryan in the lineup. Rippon gone deep for Art Monk. Gets away from his defender. Incomplete and a penalty marker down. Marcus Turner might have been holding on Monk. We'll see how they call it.
Or Monk might have been pushing off Marcus Turner.
True. And it looks like you may be right.
Interference. 23 defense. First down.
No. They call it against Turner.
Marcus Turner, 5th DB on the field. Art Monk is a tremendously smart receiver. We've talked about that. You see him using his hands there?
The right
right
hand.
there. He used the right hand. Turner used the left, and it was the guy with the left hand that got caught.
Didn't we see Art Monk in a tape of a game that they played when he went right by the Ram defender? He's not supposed to have much speed, and he knew how to deke him out.
Well, he really understands exactly how to hurt that defense.
Gerald Riggs fighting his way inside the 10. It was first down, of course, as a result of the penalty. Tim McDonald, the strong safety, on the tackle. 8.5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Redskins 28, Cardinals nothing.
Just as a final add to Art Monk, we talk about leadership and how important it is to these teams. Art Monk's leadership, in a special way, is in the area of conditioning. He's one of the best conditioned athletes in the NFL, and physically one of the most dedicated. And as a result, he's out there playing week in and week out. He's an inspiration to every other Redskin on the field.
2nd and 9, again Riggs. Inside the 5, close to the goal line, and stopped at about the 1. They mark it at the 2, Lonnie Young.
Watch Lachey coming from the left side, number 79. Counter tray. Good job by Grimm, 68, but it's that blast block on Zordich, 38, that opens the way for the big gain. Oof, 290 pounds coming at you, and he is moving.
It'll be 3rd down and 2. James Wilder is checked in the game. On short yardage, he has been a blocking back, but Wilder and Riggs. Great story about Wilder. Great Tampa Bay player, now performing on special teams. And happy to do it. 3rd and 2, blocking for Riggs, and Riggs gets in for the touchdown, but a penalty marker is thrown at the same time.
Holding. 89 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay at 3rd down.
It's Walter Stanley, so nullify the touchdown by Riggs.
Well, you don't want to see that. Those wide receivers are way out there. The action is in the middle of the field. The big guys are booming it out in there. You don't want a wide receiver grabbing onto somebody. One of the things that has hurt the Cardinals today with that injury to Claspy is that they usually play a 5-man defensive line, short yardage and goal line. And with the injury, they've gone to a 4-man defensive line down in these short yardage situations.
So it'll be 3rd down and 12 following the penalty. Wilder is out. Riggs is the running back. Rippon going for Clark. Circus catch attempt, but he was beyond the end zone. Lonnie Young and Cedric Mack were covering him all the way. That'll be a 4th down, and Chip Lohmiller will come in to try the first field goal of the game.
One of the things that amazes you about Gary Clark is his ability to separate from the defenders. Oh, I'll tell you, he is a great athlete.
He's the quickest of the 3. This will be a 29-yard attempt Chip Lohmiller with Mosienko holding. The kick is good. I'll tell you, Lohmiller is perfect in preseason and perfect today. Field goal by Chip Lohmiller, and the Redskins up their lead now to 31-0. Off by Sikahema for the Cardinals. Their special teams have not been able to break many today against the Redskins. They'll be happy with their efforts there.
There's a man who has been very happy the last 2 years. Joe Gibbs has done something that few NFL coaches do. Has not brought in other kickers into camp. Has said to Lohmiller at the beginning of camp, "You're my guy." And the end result of that, he hasn't had to kick his leg out in camp. I talked to him about it, and he said, yeah, he said, when you got somebody else there and he's out there kicking, you got to go kick. And he said, consequently, you kick too much, and very often you wear yourself out. It's paid off. Big dividends.
He's got a big leg to wear out, too. First down on the 21. Tim Rosenbaugh. Ricky Prohl wrapped up in a hurry by Mayhew. Down at the 26. Next Saturday, what a doubleheader we have. College football returns on CBS Sports. Pitt against Oklahoma in the daytime. Michigan and Notre Dame at 9 o'clock Eastern at night.
Lou Holtz looking for a championship. Well, Miami kind of got bounced out of that number one position by a great performance up in Provo, Utah, BYU.
RFK Stadium in Washington. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen, who's partial to those Utah State, Utah, and BYU schools out there.
Well, I like to see him win every now and then.
Rosenbaugh dumps it off to Johnny Johnson. Johnson still going, and the Redskins trying to strip the ball away. Monty Coleman and Alvin Walton combined, but not before Johnson gets 25 yards on the play into the Redskin 49.
Got a Redskin down on the field.
Wilbur
Marshall is down.
Now, here's a guy who came over from the Bears a couple of years ago, and people are still wondering whether the Redskins will ever have a defense where they'll really set him rookie to start an opener for Joe Gibbs. Replaces him. He started the game as well. First down, Cardinals. Rosenbaugh gets some time. Ricky Prohl. Prohl is there to make the catch. Mayhew defending. Fine play by Prohl. Good for 24 yards. That'll set the ball to the Redskin 25-yard line.
Tremendous reception by Prohl down the sideline, and an excellent throw by Rosenbaugh. He looks left, and toward the sign, comes back, but watch the adjustments of the ball. 1 foot down. Well, I think a second foot down. Well hidden.
5 catches for 56 yards for the rookie from Wake Forest. And now they're going to take a look at it to see whether indeed he had both feet in.
Perhaps we have another angle to show you, but we mentioned how Prohl has come along so quickly in the pro system. Watch the feet now.
After a review of instant replay, the call stands. Completed. First down.
Well, we can't really see, but it looked like his foot was. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. The officials have already. And certainly that has to be conclusive proof that he stepped out. And, it was not there.
Well, the Redskin defense looking for the shutout here with 4:50 remaining in the game. First down on the 25. Johnny Johnson gets by Caldwell and wrestled down by Darrell Green. Not before he gets to the 15-yard line, and today Johnson has gained 49 yards on 13 carries.
Johnny Johnson coming back off a fine run earlier. We didn't have a chance to show you the replay. That also got Marshall on his back. But here's that play. Several plays ago, again, the little flip to the outside. Watch the power running of Johnson, and watch Marshall. It's Raven Caldwell, his own player, that's going to hit him there and ring his bell.
First down on the Redskin 15. Johnson trying to turn the corner. And it was Mayhew, the first one to reach him. Caldwell there as well.
I think there might have been a few snickers when I said earlier in the game that this young man reminds a lot of people of Eric Dickerson or an O.J. Anderson. But you can see why they are so excited out in Phoenix about his running ability. He is a real power back with excellent speed that can get into the outside.
And he got his chance because Anthony Thompson, their top draft pick, was a holdout and reported late.
And Anthony will work into this system. He's a quality athlete, too. But they do have some talent.
Rosenbaugh. Roy Green a little late getting there. Todd Bowles cut in front to make the play. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 6.
You got to pull the trigger. Rosenblatt just a little late. Green had made his move, was open for a second, but the ball a little late arriving, and Bowles slammed the door.
Bowles dove for the ball, a little shaken up, looking to the sideline.
Looks like he's dragging that arm a little bit. Yeah, they're going to leave him in. They say, hey, you're tough. Stay in there. Well, right now, they're looking for a TD.
3rd down and 6. Stokes and Tim Johnson in the defensive line for Washington. Marshall from behind. Rosenbaugh's pass tipped twice and incomplete. Intended for Ernie Jones, and it was Darrell Green who was also there, and it brings up a 4th down and 6.
Joe Bugel saying, don't do it again. We've had enough of those today.
Well, they're going to try and get the touchdown, or the 6 yards at least. Mai Sekahima is in the game right now.
You mentioned the notes that Joe Bugel is making. He's on. He may have to go to a second notebook. It has, I am sure, been a tough day for Joe Bugel.
4th down and 6. Ball at the 11. Rosenbaugh's pass intercepted and knocked away. Let's see if Coleman hold on to it.
It's the 2nd time today that Monty Coleman has had an interception taken away because it touched the ground. One in the 1st quarter, and now again here in the 4th quarter.
And the Redskins will take over on downs, and they very nearly picked off their 5th of the game. Well, as far as the Redskins are concerned, you know, they have a very tough early schedule this first half of the year against divisional foes, and it's a luxury to get kind of a breather, which is what this has turned out to be.
Perhaps the best part of what's happened today, no injuries. At least we have not seen injuries, and hope we haven't going to be surprised by any. I'm talking about Washington's injuries. Plasty, obviously, on the sideline for the Phoenix Cardinals.
Redskins with a 1st down on their 11-yard line. Gerald Riggs. Well, the youngest U.S. Open champion would be Pete Sampras if he wins at 19. But Andre Agassi will oppose him coming up next. The U.S. Open men's final. First All-American final since 1979. And a surprise with Agassi beating Becker yesterday and Sampras beating John McEnroe. And the fans leaving RFK Stadium is the Redskins, who have struggled at home under Joe Gibbs. Not today.
Well, they've struggled a little bit over the last couple of years, but under Gibbs, they're 48-19 here at RFK. But we'll give you a chance to look at that. 8-8 in the last 2 seasons, and that's a trend that Joe Gibbs and his team want to turn around.
Your paths did cross, didn't they, way back in 1965, you and Joe Gibbs?
Matter of fact, they did. During the Watts riots, Joe Gibbs was working with the National Guard, and they were getting ready to go to Fort Ord, to camp at Fort Ord, and they grabbed him, took him down when the Watts riots were going on. We were supposed to play a game Sunday night. They put the game off till Tuesday, and Gibbs was defending an intersection down there. Said he was hiding under a 53 Mercury. They brought us in. There were pillboxes down there, people with 50 caliber machine guns, and we played a game.
Gerald Riggs up to the 21-yard line. 1st down, Redskins. Derek Green,
I think, still smarting from that helmet he took to the hip earlier in the game. Again, an injury from one of his own teammates. Just to finish that story, as we went down in our bus to play that game, it was kind of a frightening experience. They put a Jeep with a 50 caliber machine gun in front of us and one behind us. And during the game, they put an armed National Guardsman with a loaded M1 every 10 steps around the field on the Coliseum looking into the stands. And I asked Joe, I said, did you get to come to the game? He said, no. He said, I was there 4 days, and he said, almost all of those 4 days I was hiding under that 53 Mercury.
Well, he doesn't have to hide anymore.
No, he's out in the sunlight now.
First down. Gerald Riggs slices off tackle, brings it out to the 27-yard line. McDonald and Zordich in on the stop as we're winding down to our 2-minute warning. Clock stops now, though. McDonald was slow getting up. There's
Claspy on the left.
Washington's schedule in the latter part of October and November is about as tough as you could want in a divisional type race.
Look at that. 4 games against arch rivals, the Giants and the Eagles, in a 5-week period. That's unhuman to make a team do that, I think. I think that's a mistake of scheduling, because you play that kind of physical football, you have no time to recover. By week 7, Joe Gibbs will know a lot about his team, because the front end of their schedule is loaded with divisional opponents. And they are going to have to try and make a fast start. They have not been a fast starting team. In fact, they're 3-6 in openers, have lost their last 2. They're happy to be off well today.
And of course, as you've mentioned, the Cardinals have lost 11 straight against the Redskins here at RFK Stadium, dating back to '78. And the beat goes on.
They do not like to come here to play, and I don't blame them. This is an intimidating stadium.
Second down and 4. Gerald Riggs again, the workhorse.
Lewis Sharp, 3-time Pro Bowler, and you'd see the head drop. Now, one of the things that if I were Joe Bugel, one of the things I would be terribly concerned about is a team losing confidence.
He's going to have a big week to get him back up after this one. 2-minute warning is upon us. Fourth quarter of a 31-0 rout by the Washington Redskins. And for Joe Bugel, he's 2 minutes away from seeing some old friends.
Not under the best of circumstances.
Nope. Third down and 1 for the Redskins. All of their points have come as a result of turnovers today. Gerald Riggs dives forward. Jim Waller is there to make the stop.
That should bring special teams onto the field. No, let's see what's happening. They're going to measure Wayne Sevier, middle of your screen. I think one of the biggest improvements in this Redskin team this year, special teams. They've been outstanding in this game. Great coverage, good kicking game, very, very solid. Wayne Sevier come back for another stint here in Washington, has done a great job for them.
Short of the first down. Well, tonight on CBS, it all starts with 60 Minutes. One faces domestic chaos, the other faces a war. How far will Bush and Gorbachev go to help each other? 60 Minutes goes to the summit to find out. Tomorrow, don't miss a special hour of sneak previews on CBS, starting with Uncle Buck. He's rude, he's crude, and he's family. Catch Uncle Buck starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then stay tuned for Lenny, the working class hero who's got something to say about everything. Don't miss the sneak previews of these great new comedies tomorrow here on CBS. And we understand that the Cardinals had watched the movie version of Uncle Buck on their flight from Phoenix to Washington and enjoyed it. So
I don't think we can hold that against Uncle Buck.
No.
There's a timeout by Washington,
Redskins, yeah.
by the Redskins.
Ralph Mosienko will kick it away, and Vi Sikahima is deep. Big receivers today. Mark Rypien has had a marvelous day statistic-wise. 240 yards total. Monk and Sanders each caught 6 passes. Sanders with a touchdown.
Good kick.
Sikahima back on the 20. Trying to get away from Joe Howard. And brings it out to the 31. Monty Coleman on the tackle. With that much time remaining, 1-1-1. Minute and 11.
Without question, a fine day for special teams, a fine day for Rypien. But Rypien's growth and Rypien's problems are not over yet. He's got a long season to look forward to. This outing will be very helpful for him.
But he wasn't really tested today.
No, he wasn't.
First down on the 32 for the Cardinals. Pass incomplete for Prohl. Way off the mark. Twice the Cardinals had a chance to score. They drove deep into Redskin territory. Mayhew with an interception in the end zone, and on the other time it was knocked down by Monty Coleman in the end zone, and that was as close as Rosenbach got today. 4 interceptions resulting in 4 touchdowns. Mayhew with a pair, and Alvin Walton ran 57 yards for a score after a pickoff. Rosenbach has Roy Green, and Todd Bowles gets him right away. Under a minute to play, and that'll be 3rd down for the Cardinals.
We talked a great deal about the fact that Joe Bugle had brought Washington's offense to Phoenix, and yet we have not seen all of Washington's offense today. And the reason very simply is that they have not been able to teach the whole offense yet, and really don't understand it all yet. They're reaching what they can get a hold of, and Bugle talked about golden nuggets. He said, we've tried to pick out the best of what Rosenbach can do. Well, not many nuggets here today, I'm afraid.
And he's got 2 more road games left. Tampa Bay won on the road today, beating Detroit. They've got the Eagles and the Saints away before they come back home to Phoenix. Rosenbach's pass.
Roy Green is
hit.
out. I think he's out.
Ryan Davis hit him. Pass is complete.
Yeah, he's going to get up. But boy, that was a pop.
He should be out.
He should be out. I tell you, he's tough, and he's saying something, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He was on the ground and really defenseless at that. I don't think Brian Davis was trying to hurt him, but any pop to the head that way, and I'll tell you that if I'm an official and I'm standing on top of that one, I think I throw a flag. Here's the last play. Now he's still alive. He can get up and run. And let's give Davis credit. He's trying to move away. Roy Green was trying to sit up. Maybe I wouldn't have thrown the flag, now having a chance to look at it again. Players trying to do what they're supposed to do, but that's a dangerous situation when your neck is bent and you get popped in the back of the head.
4th down and 4, and a delay of the game penalty against the Cardinals with 47 seconds to go. Well, that's a luxury we have, is that we can look at it again and again.
We can, and it's good to look at one like that. You don't want to point the finger at someone unjustly.
The Redskins finished last year, as we told you, with 5 straight wins, and in their season finale, they defeated the Seattle Seahawks on the road 29-0.
The Cardinals have called timeout. There's no 5-yard penalty. It's our 3rd and last timeout. Take it back 5.
Cardinals have used the timeout, so the Redskins could get their 2nd straight shutout. Last game last season and the opener here. Well, next week, the NFL on CBS begins at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today. 4 smiling faces.
That's a good-looking group.
Followed by doubleheader action. Game 1, you'll see either the Bears and the Packers or the Cardinals on the road again against the Eagles. Another NFC East battle. Followed by either the Redskins against San Francisco or New Orleans at Minnesota. Pretty good action next week, and it all begins at 12:30 Eastern right here on CBS.
You mentioned moments ago that Phoenix opens with 3 games on the road, and that's mighty tough for a young coach. You'd like to be able to play at home. But the reason for that is the heat in Phoenix. If you've been to Phoenix this time of year, you know that it's not a great place to play in the afternoon. So they tried to schedule the first few games away, and that does hurt this Phoenix team.
4th down and 4. Pass is caught by Ernie Jones. He's got the 1st down at the 45. Cardinals lining up quickly. They're just practicing their hurry-up offense with a half a minute to play. They're out of timeouts.
Looking to get something positive out of this last drive anyway.
Rosenbach up the middle to Sakahima. You better line up in a hurry with less than 20 seconds to go. Coleman and Alvoid Mays in on the stop. Good experience for Rosenbach here.
Baptism by fire, perhaps?
A lot of that. Pass is tipped incomplete. 4 seconds remain.
I've always believed that you only learn through pain, at least on the football field. If that's true, Young Mr. Rosenbaugh has had a lot of learning today because he has had some real pain out there. Most of it administered by a very professional and veteran defense. Even though this defensive team has its question marks, they have certainly played well today.
They won 5 games last year.
With 5 early.
And the last play of the game, Sukahima makes the catch, but time runs out, and the game is over. Not the way Joe Bugle wanted to come home, but for Joe Gibbs, an opening game.